What's up everybody, man, back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla -2 news and updates. Today, Toho teases major Godzilla -1 sequel news right around the corner, and filming begins on what appears to be Godzilla's first destruction scene in the upcoming Toho Godzilla film. This is the second Godzilla news and updates in a row that I've recorded that got instantly corrupted, and so I have to re-record it. So, wish me luck. Starting out here, I want to show off some artwork like always. This piece is a model made by Pitaku, and it is fantastic. This is made for the Great Monster Gallery exhibition, which I believe shows off a bunch of custom-made monster figures and art displays, and this is the Godzilla Watsumi model. So freaking cool. I love it. It's got a great Godzilla sculpt. He looks fantastic. I love the Freon tanks attached to him. They've got the jets going underneath them. They've got the balloons coming out right around him like he's being drug up to the surface. So awesome already. The bubbles coming off is what really sells it and what I find to be the most amazing. Not even to mention the Godzilla sculpt looks really awesome as well. In particular, I love the tail shape. I think he looks so freaking fantastic. The paint job is amazing on this thing. They did a great job with that scar on Godzilla's cheek, and the whole thing came together really, really wonderfully. I would love if they sold models of this just wide release so that we could get some ourselves, because I would love to have this on display. It looks that awesome. I think that this is so cool. As far as merchandise goes, Toho and Diamond Fixed released these new Godzilla bead art panels. These are art panels, basically like art puzzles you can put together yourself by inserting the beads in the proper order. They can form tons of different Godzilla posters and moments and little cartoon versions and all sorts of stuff. They come in larger art panel versions and then smaller coaster versions, which are very cute. I like these a lot. Mini Godzilla pouches were released featuring acrylic Godzilla plates. The pouches themselves are modeled after Godzilla's skin. There's Burning Godzilla with that Heisei skin texture, Shin Godzilla with the very Shin Godzilla skin texture, and Godzilla -1, which is probably my favorite as that skin texture looks the most recognizably Godzilla. But these are very cool, so I figured I'd show them off. Gojira revealed their Apple Watch band featuring Godzilla -1. It's a very slick version of Godzilla -1. I really like it. It's very artistic, looks very cool. The blue on it really pops. So if you've got an Apple Watch, you can get that and attach it to your Apple Watch now. Dei Agostini's Godzilla Osechi 2026 boxes were revealed. Osechi boxes are New Year's boxes in Japan. They're like a cultural tradition. You can have them at the end of the year to usher in the beginning of the new year. These are to celebrate the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. And they feature tons of different food items that represent different things. So you eat them and they represent like wealth, prosperity, fortune, luck, all sorts of different things, good health leading into the new year. So you eat them basically to try and manifest a good new year. The box itself looks really great with that Shin Godzilla on it. And then inside the box, there's tons of Godzilla themed items. I love the footprints. That's very cool. The Ebra claws are pretty fun. The Godzilla teeth are very cute. I don't know why there's such an emphasis on Godzilla versus the sea monster in here. Maybe because that's the anniversary we're about to hit. They're very cool overall. They also come with little commemorative items as well, like a little poster, little pouches for chopsticks. The box itself is very nice. And then of course, little Godzilla, which is very cute. And I've got those linked down below if you want to get yourself one. I don't think they really ship to the US, or at least not that I saw, but I've got them linked down below anyways. Angel Champagne collaborated with Godzilla -1. I'm not entirely sure why. There's the bottle. It doesn't look terribly Godzilla themed, but still pretty cool nonetheless. For apparel, WoW Cavity Colors came to bat. I have no idea why, but in early September, on September 3rd, there was a limited time, I think it was only like one weekend, Godzilla -1 collaboration. The artwork on this is incredible. The main artwork they used for this is so awesome. I love the art style. As always with this art style, Godzilla looks amazing. The steam coming off of him is so cool. The burning wounds on him captures the visual of my favorite moment in Godzilla -1 when Godzilla's all charred up and roars. That's my favorite look for Godzilla in the entire film. He's so cool in that moment. The blue spines is so awesome. This was released as a t-shirt and a jacket, which is so awesome. I wish I could have gotten it. But there was also this really cool, almost like comic booky styled Godzilla -1 shirt, as well as this one, which features a ton of different screenshots from the movie, which they've released something similar to this in the past. But this limited time collaboration event was very awesome. I wish I could show it off for you, but I don't have it. Here is one of my favorite Cavity Colors Godzilla releases though. This was also for for Godzilla Minus One. The shirts hold up incredibly well. They're incredibly comfortable. Cavity Color is one of my favorite shirt brands, and I'm always super impressed with them. Ensky Kabusel Standby released some Godzilla displays. These are little acrylic puzzles. So while they're like normal Godzilla acrylic displays, they're like little puzzles that you put together yourself. There's a Burning Godzilla one celebrating the anniversary of Godzilla vs. Destroya, and then also a Godzilla Minus One acrylic stand, which is so awesome. The apocalyptic destruction in the background is so cool, kind of representing that Ginza nuke moment. So awesome. But what's really cool about it is that this is a brand new render of Godzilla Minus One. We've never seen this render before, and he looks fantastic from this angle. I wish they would release higher quality renders of him from this angle, because this is one of his coolest looks we've ever seen. I really love it. The Bandai Dynamic Series Godzilla Minus One Heat Ray version was revealed. The Bandai Dynamic Series Godzilla Minus One is a more dynamic version of the Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla Minus One, recapturing the pose Godzilla is in on the poster for Godzilla Minus One, and this new version of it features the blue glowing spines as well as a blue glowing mouth. This runs you $29, so a little on the higher end for the Bandai series, but it is premium Bandai after all, and it still does look very cool. The Desktop Monsters Collective Volume 1 Godzilla set was revealed. This is very cool. These desktop monsters are little figures that are meant to be displayed on desks. They're very nice. They're like paperweights essentially. There is a Godzilla Minus One, which looks really cool. A Godzilla 1994, Godzilla 2016, Shin Godzilla, which is probably my favorite. That one looks super awesome. King Ghidorah 1991, which is my second favorite. That's great. Kiryu 2003, I believe, and Mothra 1992. The English translated novelization for Godzilla Minus One has finally been released. I've got it linked down below. You can get it for yourself. It is $15.19 before shipping. I have not read the English novelization for Takashi Yamazaki's Godzilla Minus One, but I have read the Japanese novelization, which I've broken down extensively on this channel. You can go check those videos out now. I've done a really deep dive into the Japanese novelization. At some point, I will pick up the English novelization and review it for you guys as well, breaking down the differences between the English version and the Japanese version, seeing if there are any differences in the first place, and just seeing how the novelization is overall. So if you're interested in that, subscribe, because I'm going to try and get to that as soon as I can. But for now, you can go get yours, linked down below. The Godzilla booth at the Tokyo Toy Show was announced. This is the proof of concept version of it, and it looks fantastic. It's got that really cool rubble up top with the very nice Monsterverse looking Godzilla logo up there. In the background, you've got Godzilla's on the wall, which is very cool, going through the history of Godzilla. You've also got a wall celebrating some of the more iconic Toho kaiju, such as Mechagodzilla, Hedorah, and Destroya. And then up front, there's a big display with miniatures of Showa-era Tokyo being destroyed, with a giant Godzilla Minus One statue on display. Very awesome. We have photos from the event itself. These photos in person come to us from Koso Omo, and they're fantastic. The Godzilla model itself looks great. The overview of this booth looks fantastic. They one-to-one pulled it off from their vision, which is very cool. You actually can see they brought the Ginza Waco building into this display as well, which is very cool. I guess the actual miniature is a little different. It looks a little more Minus One than that other display, which was from the Godzilla Expos. But they also have tons of figures and merchandise on display as well. Here's a photo of one of the new Godzilla lines, the Splash Monster Godzillas, which I believe you fill with water and then they spray each other. Little squirt guns, basically. Godzilla Minus One played at the Japanese Film Festival of Arizona on September 13th. This was held at the Mix Center Theater and was actually helped run by my friend Matt. So big shout out, Matt. I think it's so awesome that Godzilla Minus One got to be at this event. This movie's really special, and I just like that it can be included in events like this. Construction on a giant Godzilla Minus One statue is underway, which is very awesome. This Godzilla Minus One statue is being made from volunteers at Shonai. This homemade construction is being put together by the Shonai Sasekai volunteer group from Matsumoto City, Shonai District, where Takashi Yamazaki was born, which I believe is why they're doing this event in the first place. It'll be featured at the Yumihirobai Shonai Complex, Daigawa 1. It is a 3-meter tall, so a little over 9 feet, statue being prepared for October 18th with an opening ceremony on October 18th, which I'll talk about in a future news and updates. It's made largely of cardboard and styrofoam and looks fantastic. It looks really cool. Here we can see the tail, the legs being put together, and they're actually putting the torso on. It's really cool overall, and I cannot wait to show off the final product, as when they finally put it together, it looks really, really cool. The casting website for Takashi Yamazaki's upcoming Godzilla film had some more interesting details revealed. So if you haven't seen, in the last Godzilla Minus 2 news and updates, I went in depth with the casting calls put out for extras for Takashi Yamazaki's new Godzilla film, Shinsaku Gojira, which is the tentative title, just meaning new Godzilla film. Shinsaku Gojira's website revealed quite a few details. We got our first descriptions of upcoming sequences being filmed. There was a big sequence with townspeople running away from a giant monster, obviously Godzilla or some other kaiju, probably Godzilla himself. There's There's a hospital sequence, and there was a sequence where people were cowering in an evacuation shelter. And by digging into the source code of the website, we actually learned what appears to be a definitive answer on if it is, in fact, a direct sequel to Godzilla -1 with the same cast, or if it's something a little different than that. But I won't get into that here. That'll be for that other video. You can go check that out until we get official announcement from Toho themselves on purpose. But by digging back into the source code of this website, people like Kaiju number 14 discovered that filming actually began in secret on July 21st in the Shinjuku district in Tokyo. So this is a little before we actually knew they were filming. We thought cameras were up in August or September, but it turns out they've actually been filming since July. The Shinjuku Tokyo stuff, it got me a little baffled because Shinjuku is such a modern city, so modern, that it would be really hard to fit the aesthetic of the time period the film is set in, which appears to be the late 1940s or early 1950s. But a weather notice was posted as well, which means that it could have been an exterior. So while I don't think they'd be filming in the city, it could have been filming in a city park or something like that. Could have been filming in a big parking lot where they put up green screen walls and they'll turn it into period accurate Tokyo anyways, or Japan anyways. Or it very well could be filming in a soundstage of some sort. And the weather notice was because, you know, obviously like people got to get to the soundstage. If I was a betting man, I would believe it was filming for an exterior sequence in probably like a big city park or something like that. And they've probably done something like built a mock-up set that they've had actors standing on that they filmed in front of green screen backgrounds, much like in Godzilla -1 during the big Ginza attack sequence, but they also did that for other scenes, like when the Shinden was flying around, that was actually filmed on studio location. Other scenes that were filmed exterior were scenes like the big scenes on the dock at the Yokosuka Naval Base. Those were filmed exterior and then transformed into the base itself. Stuff like that. I think it could be something like that that they filmed. I think it could have been something kind of similar to that. Maybe not the naval base itself, but that might have been the type of filming they were doing. Following what appears to be a successful shoot of the townspeople evacuating from whatever monster or fleeing from whatever monster it was, filming began in Kasama City, Ibaraki. This filming happened on September 5th, 7th, and 8th, and this was the hospital sequence. As I speculated in a previous video, could very well be Noriko in the hospital or some victims in the hospital following a monster attack, and this happened with hospital staff. That's what the extras were being recruited for. Filming continued in the Kuji district, Ibaraki. Filming began on September 14th and 15th with a backup day on the 16th, and this was the sequence of people in the evacuation shelters. And with that, I'm actually going to break my chronological coverage to jump a little forward in the future, to right now, to today. Toho has officially posted a little teaser, which I'll probably touch upon again someday, but Toho posted a little teaser celebrating the legacy of Godzilla -1 and celebrating that it's coming to an official end. Godzilla -1's era is 100% over as the 70th anniversary for Godzilla has concluded. Toho announces the 70th anniversary film Godzilla -1 has come to its last day, November 2nd. The reason that's important is because Godzilla's anniversary is on November 3rd, which means to usher in a new era, they have to end the last era. Godzilla -1, of course, really was the celebration from the 69th through the 70th anniversary of Godzilla, released on the 69th anniversary, but considered Toho's 70th anniversary celebration, as New Empire was the official 70th anniversary celebration. And now it's time for a new era. At the very end of Toho's teaser, they announce, and then their next film. Tomorrow, Godzilla Festival will begin on November 3rd in Japan. I have no idea what reveals will await us. It could be like some Godzilla festivals. Nothing happens. They play the short film, they celebrate Godzilla Battle Line, they celebrate figures and merchandise and announce new things coming up this year. They announce what characters will be getting the spotlight this year. Of course, this year, 2025, is the year of Burning Godzilla. What will next year be? I guess we'll wait and see. I'm sure they have some special anniversary celebrations in store for us, but there is room for announcements. These could be things like the new season of Chibi Godzilla or Gojiban or something. But they also, it seems here, are more likely going to be official announcements regarding the upcoming Toho Godzilla film. I would hope we will finally get a title reveal as well as a cast reveal for this movie. We are well due for it to find out specifically what this next movie is going to be, and I'm really hoping we get a title card at the very least as well as a release date. If I had to place a guess, my guess is going to be the release date for the next Toho Godzilla film will be November 6th, the Friday following the 3rd, 2026. I think that's the best time. I think they'll probably do a special screening for the film early on November 3rd, and then the official release date will be November 6th on that Friday in 2026. I will say Toho has more up their sleeve that they could be announcing. I don't know if they will announce it or when they will announce it, but I do know Toho's got other things up their sleeves. I am very excited about all of it. I'm really hoping, if anything, we get an announcement for the next Takashi Yamazaki Godzilla film. I'm hoping for a title card at the very least. I doubt we'll get a teaser, but it could be possible that we get a teaser, a proof of concept or something. Maybe some VFX, maybe a little bit of a little snippet. If anything, I think we're probably going to get another one of those announcement teasers, like breaking news, the next next Takashi Miyazaki film is, and then they'll announce the title card or something. Kind of like how last year around Godzilla Festival, a little bit before Godzilla Festival actually, but around this time, they announced that Takashi Miyazaki would be returning to direct the new Toho Godzilla film. I think that's the type of thing we'll see coming up here. But I'm very excited about it regardless. I cannot wait to see what comes out, if anything, and if nothing comes out, that's alright as well. I can wait. I'm patient. I will happily wait for bigger reveals down the line, as Toho typically likes to wait until they have a lot to reveal all at once, and then they begin to reveal things. They did it for Godzilla -1, they did it for the Godzilla anime trilogy, they did it for Godzilla Singular Point, they did it for Shin Godzilla. They really like to play things close to the vest, and so they could do the same here, but I'm hopeful that we'll get some announcements tomorrow. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I've also seen some people speculating that maybe we'll get a teaser or a trailer for Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2. It could very well happen, but I doubt it will happen at Godzilla Festival. If that happens, I'm going to assume that would happen separate on the social media pages for Monarch Legacy of Monsters on YouTube through American social media outlets. I would be more surprised than anything if it happens at Godzilla Festival. It could, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I've heard no rumblings on any sort of Monarch Legacy of Monsters teasers, so I don't know anything about that. But we will just have to wait and see. What do you guys hope is in store for us? What are your thoughts on filming beginning of the Godzilla -1 sequel? And what are you most hopeful for coming out of Godzilla Festival? Comment below and let me know. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. It is through the support of the patrons on Patreon that I'm able to continue to make videos like this for you. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. If that's not your thing, please consider joining as a channel member. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time for the next one. D-Man, out.